How'd you guys meet? Who contacted who? And did you ever even play with Legos or know what they were?
That's the funny thing. I never played with Legos, so I actually came up with a nebulous idea, basic concept, and basically bought $500 of Lego bricks from the company, had them sent to me in Australia, and had the box arrive. Looked at the box and thought, I don't know how I can build with Lego. So I did some research online. I came across this guy who did these amazing sculptures of these people ripping their chest open. I was like, I want to build stuff like this guy. And my girlfriend said, you should contact him. So I drafted up an email, I sent it to Nathan, and he basically said, I love it, when are you coming to New York? 2 weeks later, I was in New York, and Nathan and I started the project.
So not many people would have that, gung-ho to actually just get on a plane and go to Australia. Because I know we were talking before, and you guys had said, Nathan was like, all right, if you want to come, then you're serious, come over here. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's not a chance that many would take. Why did you take it?
You know what, life is all about taking risks, and I fully believe that this was the right thing to do at the time. I was excited by the basic idea that I'd come up with in the beginning, with the combination behind pixels and the bricks and the way that they were going to work together as a synergy. I was excited to collaborate with Nathan, who being excited by his work generally. And just, I think it's great that you work in a team environment. I build on my ideas by, absorbing them from stylists and makeup artists and fashion and all these other kind of trends. So collaborating with Nathan was exciting, and it's not an issue for me. Australians love to travel. We're so isolated. We're so far away from everything, and it was probably one of the smartest moves I've made in a long time.
So now, basically, like when you came over here and you guys said that you actually traveled across the country, you drove, you spent a lot of time with just you and Nathan. Do you think it's better that you guys were opposites as far as your gifts went? Because you said you're a photographer and he's, the architect, the builder. And you guys also have that difference with your actually coming into your gift, coming into your future. Because you said from the time you were 7, you've known.
Yeah, so I unfortunately, in a sense, always knew what I was going to do. There was no question period. I knew I was going to be a photographer. I begged my mum for a camera when I was 7. I grew up in a really small town, which fortunately for me had the largest darkroom in the country. So I always had this passion. So very different from Nathan, who followed his legal career before changing his profession, and he comes from a different background as well. But a smart move on both of their parts.
Now, do you have any background in landscaping? Or because you said it was mostly fashion, models, makeup. So was this something new to actually go and tackle actual landscapes and nature for the most part?
Yeah, look, the whole series was definitely different from anything I'd ever done before. I have a fashion background. I'm used to photographing these kind of whimsical models floating in the middle of the air. So this was definitely something that I wanted to do to push my boundaries. Collaborating with Nathan, bringing sculptures into the photographs was a real challenge for me because I'd never seen that before. And in the early stages, I used to think that, I don't know, maybe it should be a real tree, maybe it shouldn't be a sculpture. And it was hard for me to actually absorb the fact that that was a Lego tree when I first saw it. But the more I looked at it, the more I enjoyed the fact that it was actually a man-made object coming into the scene.
So how long has this taken you guys to complete? When did you start and when did you end?
So I contacted Nathan in May 2009, and 2 weeks later I was in New York. We kind of worked on the project, kind of basically nutted out how we're going to do everything. I went back to Australia, and then I moved back here 3 months later to start the project. So we really started in September 2009, and 3 years later we basically had finished the images. There's 7 images in the series, and we actually have another image that we're possibly going to work on, because we always envisioned it was going to be 8 images in the series.
So now, the one thing I do admire about you guys have so much success. But has there ever been anything that it didn't work out for you?
Look, there was a lot of trial and error in the process, and a lot of things that we originally envisioned just don't turn out. Like the girl with the red dress wasn't supposed to be standing underneath that beautiful Art Deco theater. She was designed to be on the train station, which is where where Nathan actually finds himself. So, we shoot things. If it doesn't work out, you're constantly adapting in the process, and that's the great thing about this series. We constantly refine it. It was 2 people trying to get their ideas across in the image. We look at something, if it needs to be changed, we fix it. If we feel like something needs to be taken out to improve the image, we will. If something needs to be added, we do it. So it was so collaborative. Nathan's ideas, my ideas coming together, and I think it's a great product after you look at the whole process.
I think it blended very well. Now, as far as your work goes, where can we find more about you, about Dean West, the photographer?
It's really easy. It's deanwest.com, and you're going to see a bunch of weird and wonderful things on there. You're going to see lots of animals. You're going to see octopuses. You're going to see ostriches. You're going to see flying swans. You're going to see everything. So I'm a big fan of animals sneaking their way into the shots. So look hard. You're going to find some rats. Even in this image behind, you're going to see a white cockatoo. That there's people kind of refer to as like this hyper-realism. So I don't know where that term came from, but somehow it's become commonplace when explaining some of my work.
That's great. And if there's anything like you could tell people to, as far as like to get them going, to go for their dreams, to go for this kind of stuff, what would be the one source of, you know, inspiration you could give them?
Well, the one thing I always struggle when producing high, complex imagery is really kind of following through and keeping at the idea right through to the end. And there are many times throughout the process where I doubt myself and I'm constantly kind of working out, is it going to work? But you know what? If you just push through and you keep pushing at it and keep working at it, eventually I think you'll be happy with the product. And that's something that I feel has been something that I've adopted through my practice. And just like when you go for a run, you can run and you get really exhausted and you don't want to do it. But then if you push through that barrier, there's just this moment where you kind of go into a zone. And I feel the same thing with any kind of thing you apply yourself to. If you just keep focusing on the end goal, you'll get there.
That's great. And so you basically, I mean, you don't need a fancy camera to be a good photographer.
No, you just need a vision. You need to believe in what you're doing. This whole series was created with a variety of cameras, from medium format film, medium format digital, right through to 35mm digital, 35mm film. So we use a variety of different things. A lot of things are shot separately. You can do anything with the technology that we have today. So it's just a matter of you understanding the concept, believing what you want to do, have something to say. We call these open-ended dramas. People come in, they look at them, they see the story, but they can, instill their own narrative into the image because there's not quite all the information there. So just believe in what you're going to do, and I think you'll get something out of it.